Good evening, Oregon Trail Council. Thanks for joining us on tonight's Fireside Chat. We're waiting while Jim Wiley puts his clothes on. No pressure there, Jim. I can see that some of you are hard at work. You can see that I'm hard at play. So I would welcome you to all come out and play if you had a chance. It's you can see over my shoulder, it's all green and pretty and so forth. A kind of testament to the way Oregon usually is. So we have kind of an open mic event tonight. We had great ideas on topics that we wanted to cover tonight, and then we promptly, I promptly forgot to write it all down. So it's open mic is my fault tonight. So Scott, if you can help us with a little bit of crucial content, we'd be awfully grateful. Take it away, Scott.
Thank you. First of all, the question was asked earlier today about our camps, and just wanted to let everybody know at this point, everything's kind of north of there, down your way, Fred, right? But to my knowledge, everything, probably the camp that was closest to any of the fires was Weyerhaeuser Woods. But Weyerhaeuser Woods seems to be safe. As far as Malacca, I've had a lot of people talking to me about Malacca, but the fire started west of Malacca and moved west from there. So we should be fine. So really all of our properties are safe, at least for the time being. We'll mention that we have had some families that have been displaced because of the fires, and we wish them the best. Hopefully they can return to their homes, and their homes are still there. So our thoughts and prayers are with them and their well-being. I will say that we are really pushing to make sure that we help out the community in this time of need. We actually, Troop 100, I think, to my understanding, is helping with the evacuation centers. They're trying to feed the volunteers that are working there. I know we're also going to be working with Chef Becky, who does some catering for us, to help take care of our firefighters as well. So we're really pushing all of our units to get involved and help out the community, especially in this time. So update on that. I will mention Scouting for Food. We talked about it last week, and I do want to mention that Scouting for Food will be November 7th at this point. Still have to confirm with the Salvation Army. We think we can do Scouting for Food in a safe manner, social distance. It would require our units to basically pick up food as family units, and also to put out the information prior to the Saturday and let them know that they will be picking it up from the doorstep on Saturday. We don't want our units going to the doors, knocking on the doors. So we have to get that information out there far enough in advance that each of the families will set those bags out on their doorstep. They could be picked up, and then the family units could bring those into the turn-in locations as far as Scouting for Food turn-ins. The other thing I do want to mention is Klondike. We still have our Doug Fir district, who has done our Klondike for years, working on Klondike, trying to make sure that we can run that program in January, and looking at what that might look like. And obviously when we do those kinds of things, those are kind of moving targets depending on what's happening with COVID. We may have to limit the numbers. Who knows where we'll be at that point. Also want to mention, and Sherry, we're looking at the weekend of the 30th and 31st. We're looking at running a Haunted Trails program out at Camp Baker. And again, that's something we'll have to make sure that we follow all the state guidelines on. Sherry, you have anything to say about that?
I'm so excited. Get back out.
Don't hold back. Don't hold back.
I'm not. I just Yeah, still looking for a little bit of help. Devin, if you're interested, I would like to talk to you about that. We're going to keep it minimal staff, and we're going to have 2 split sessions so that we keep it minimal people in camp.
It's October 30 and 31, is that right?
30 and 31.
Okay.
Halloween.
Yes, haunted trails.
Very good. Very good.
So,
Scott, I had a question about scouting for food. Traditionally in Doug Fir District, what they would do is perhaps the Saturday before the date you're talking about, they would pass out the bags, participate in the Veterans Day parade, and then after the parade, they'd go pick it up. Should that be set up locally, or, you know,
I leave it up to the units to determine how that's going to work for them, Jim. You know, some will go out if their meeting night is Wednesday. They may just go out on Wednesday night, drop off the bags for their meeting, and then turn around and pick them back up on the Saturday. So I think that we just leave up to the units. What I feel like we really need to do is make sure that we have a map and we coordinate it so that we're not overlapping. One of the bigger challenges, I think, and we're going to need some help on how we handle this, but if we do it this way, what I've seen in the past is a lot of times people forget to put the bags out there. You know, if the message says we'll be back at 9 o'clock on Saturday to pick the bags up, people forget to get them out there by 9 o'clock. So the unit comes by, picks up all the bag, and all of a sudden we'll get tons of calls or several calls that says, oh, you know what? I put my bag out too late. Nobody came by and picked it up. So I want to have a backup so that we can have units or somebody go back out, pick up those bags, and you know, if nothing else, bring them into the Council Service Center. We can work with the Salvation Army to get them there. Obviously, in our outlying areas, we'd have to figure out how that looks for each one of the outlying areas.
Hey, Scott.
Yes.
When Rob and I were talking about that, we were discussing to do, you know, that it would be scouting for food, COVID style, and emphasize the no contact thing, that by delivering the flyers ahead of time and having on there, please have your, we weren't sure if we'd be able to actually deliver bags because the grocery stores don't give out bags anymore. So that's sort of an issue that we didn't used to have. So that might be up to individual areas if they've got access to get bags to drop off. Otherwise, just having a half sheet piece of paper that says, scouting for food this Saturday, please have your bags on your porch, you know, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., no contact, you know, porch pickup, something like that, because you don't want to offend people. But the upside to doing it this way is that on the back of that sheet, we want to have join scout information. Which normally we could not, it would not be acceptable for us to send a bunch of kids out into neighborhoods with join scout information. But because we're going to do that on the back of our sheet that's for scouting for food, that gives us access to every household in the neighborhood of each unit, because right now they can't send flyers home with at school because the kids are not going to school to get flyers. So that will be a big marketing opportunity that we normally would not have, to have join scouts and the scouting for food, and then also have in each area a drive-by drop-off spot. So if they get missed, you know, it could say drive-by drop-off from 11 to 12 or whatever in each area.
Yeah.
We could hit that.
Yep. Trying to think what else. Yeah, and I think it's very doable. And I had mentioned that we want to make sure that we're not knocking on the doors. A lot of people aren't comfortable with that right now.
No.
The other thing I want to mention is within the next couple of weeks on our Fireside Chat, we'll have our commissioners talking to us about the rechartering process. that is coming up in October. We want to try to get that finished up by November. So you'll be hearing more about that. I know there's some people that are competitive and like to be like the first charter in. So I'm all for that. You know, I think we got to throw out the challenge, see who can be the first one to get their charter into us. So
I think that's obviously pizza party stuff. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Pizza party, hamburgers, something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to do that, but only if Eugene is the first.
Yeah. The other
That's district level.
Oh,
District level challenge.
I could see that Scott's competitive having 2 pictures of himself on the meeting, one with his iPhone.
Oh, I'm going to do something in a second. That's why.
Oh,
He's profiling is what he's doing. You know.
it's going to show us how to bid. Yeah.
Yeah, you know how I'm competitive, Jim?
Yeah, you lost to Johnson on that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This is how I'm competitive. When Ed gives me 5 to 10 minutes to talk and other people take up my time, I get competitive about that.
Oh.
So no. No. Hey, I actually think that.
Let's see. If you got two images going and that's 5 minutes, then isn't that total airtime?
Okay, so my last thing I want to mention is our auction is live now. I love the system. It's a new system. Obviously we're doing it virtual this year. The silent auction items went live on Monday, I think it was.
Monday or Tuesday, yeah.
You can actually see who has the high bid. You can also see the bidding history. Thank you, Jim, for talking to us about that, because we were able to change that. So, again, if I'm bidding against, Gene and, he's got something, cheap, I'm not going to let him have it cheap. I'm going to bid him up, So anyway, I love the system. It works really well. And the silent portion of it goes until Sunday night at 8 p.m. The live portion of it goes live. You can start bidding for the live auction items at noon tomorrow, and then the actual event is 7 to 8 p.m. It should be a lot of fun. We've got some great videos. We have some of our scouts that did some videos for us, and if you go to that live event, you'll get a kick out of it. I think they really did a great job. One of the things that Anita suggested, that's why this phone is on, but somebody's going to have to do the talking, because I think I'm on silent on my phone. So
It says both.
oh, okay. Well, I'm going to take you out and you can take a quick look at some of the items. So feel free to talk amongst yourselves, and I'll go out and show you what's some of our silent auction items.
Keep talking. I think we can hear you.
Yeah, we get to watch Scott walk down the hallway, through the door. Oh, look at there.
I think we should talk about Scott now.
Yeah, that'd be even best,
We could
I told
plot
Scotty
to
needs to
outbid
be up
him
now.
on everything.
And congratulations on the position. Thank you, Danita.
You're welcome. It's exciting. That's for sure. Of course, when they asked me to do it, it was before we had a fire burning down our whole state. So, Scott was there and we just lost him.
That was it for Scott. Well, and Devin, I'm going to call on you here in a bit. I'd like to hear what you've got going in Doug Fur, and Fred. If you would just quickly talk about OA, we'd all be grateful. I think just a quick update. Oh, here comes Scott. We got to stop talking about him now.
So anyway, could you see it?
Some of it.
It was great.
Yeah.
And then it cut out, and now you're back.
Yeah, it's because my wife was calling me. She knows 6:30. Come on. Anyway.
So how do you log in to do the silent auction there, Scott?
You can actually, I personally think the easiest is going to our website.
Uh-huh.
And it says register now. So you can go in and register. You should then get an email and a text because you need 2 devices. If you're going to be on the live auction event, then you need one to watch the auction and what's happening in the auction, and then you need to bid on the other. So if it's a laptop, computer, and a phone or a pad, whatever it may be, you need 2, one to watch the event and one to bid on. But it should send you a link and an email so that you can go on and do that. If not, you can go to, I think you can go to the link, sorry, excuse me, and it says start bidding up top. That'll take you in to register and put your information in there. So
the email that came out today about the live auction said to register for the silent auction, which confused me a bit. And I'm easily confused at my age.
I think once you're registered for both, Jim.
For both? Okay, didn't know that.
And it sends you a notice every time you get outbid on one of the silent auction items.
I've gotten quite a few notices recently.
So have I, yeah. But there's good stuff. And the thing is, normally the auction is just big donors from in town that have paid, I don't know, what is it, $60 a piece or something to attend the dinner. So it's not generally members of our units and Scout volunteers that are at the dinner. I mean, there's a few, but not generally because of that cost. But the silent auction is, I mean, stuff starts at 15, 20 bucks. So anybody could participate in that. Even if they're not interested in doing the live auction, you want to encourage people to do the silent auction because there's like Dutch ovens and earrings and video games and things that would apply to everybody. So we need to all be sending that out to our entire email list or Facebook links or text or whoever. Send the link to register to get people in to do that.
And I will tell you, I'm amazed because there's some stuff that I look at and think, wow, that ought to be going for a lot more. And then there's other stuff that I will tell you, there was and there's a buy now option. Is if you bid high enough, you can buy it right then and there. And that just stops the bidding on that particular item. And like I said, there's some that I look and think, wow, I'm surprised there aren't more people bidding on it. And then I looked at one and somebody hit the buy now option. It's a Myrtlewood Scout cribbage board.
Oh yeah.
And I looked at
right
it,
away.
I looked at it and I thought that's great. I'll bid $15, $20, $25 on it. It went for $225. I was impressed.
Yes. Yeah. So do we know how many people have registered yet, Scott?
I believe it's well over 150.
Okay.
As far as I know. And I know we've got people from Arizona, North Carolina, Washington, Texas, Nevada, California.
I even saw our prior Scout executive had bid on some items.
Oh, I didn't know he had bid. I knew he was registered, so.
He bid, but of course he bid really low. You know, being a Scout exec, he's.
You might need to go outbid him, Scott.
I will tell you that both Mike Quirk, our past Scout executive, and Chris Otto, who was assistant Scout executive, I believe, before he went to Seattle, both of them are registered, so.
Awesome.
Oh, it rained in Roseburg. Did you guys get rain up there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we live here, right, Devin?
Hey, could we hear from Devin before we run out of time this evening? What do you think? Anybody else want to hear from Devin besides me?
Yep.
Yep. No, I would like to, because you said it's open mic night, and my next thing was to
Karaoke.
sing to you guys, but I'm not sure you guys would enjoy that. So.
Yeah. Go, Devin, please.
Yeah. All right. Drum roll. Okay.
Scott. Hey, Randy, what do you want to hear about?
I'd like to hear about all the great things that you're doing in the mighty Doug Fir District.
Hey, we're doing some great things. Kids are going back to school. Being in a lower populated area, we actually have some kids going to school in person, K through 3 at a lot of schools are back. Having some usage issues, just like the rest of you, with no visitors on campus, no outside use. Locating meeting places for all of our units. We still have a couple units that weren't as creative, and some meeting outside that might need a new place when it gets a little cooler out. So working on troubleshooting those. One exciting thing we have a new pack that should be starting in Melrose School, where we have the PTO chartering, working on recruiting a few leaders, a committee chair I think we have in place, and we need a Cub Master. And one creative recruiting thing we're going to be doing is inviting kids to drop off the Pinewood Derby car that we're going to provide them to our virtual district Pinewood Derby that we're going to have next month. So I'm working with the school, and we had some volunteers secure some donated lumber, and we're cutting up kind of custom Pinewood Derby kits and getting one to every kid that goes to Melrose School. So that's going to be about 300 kids. They're going to get dropped off with their lunch on the school bus that morning. And we're going to try out some recruiting things. It might go well and it might not. But the idea is they'll drop off their car with no contact. They'll just drive by and drop it off and be entered in, and we'll kind of race by classroom and hand out a lot of trophies and flyers and see if we can't get a few kids interested in joining Scouts. So just being a little more creative, making sure all of our units are doing something to meet, especially as we get into recharter. We don't want our units to drop off or, you know, recharter with 5 kids when they should have 30 kids. Just trying to be a little bit creative down here. But anyway, that's what we have going on, and maybe a Klondike Derby. So we'll see about that.
Awesome.
Did you have a chance to take a look at the recruitment webinars that have been posted on the scouting.org side?
Yeah, I've seen a few things, really exciting things I think we could do down here with some of our local places is the pizza flyers. I think we have some local pizza parlors that would send a Join Scout flyer with every pizza for a night or two. I think there's some exciting things that we could do in all of our districts, but certainly here in Douglas County.
Yeah, that sounds great. Hey, did anybody else see the article about painting rocks and then putting your unit contact information on the backside and just kind of putting those out along hiking trails and that sort of stuff?
Yeah,
Anybody else see that?
I put that on the Greenwood page, but I don't know if it made it to the OTC page. What they were doing was a scavenger hunt. So a unit, a pack did that. They had like 12 rocks, one each for the Scout Oath or Scout Law. And on the back side, it had their contact information. It said, please leave this rock in place. And then there was a scavenger hunt that the kids went out. It was COVID friendly. So they were supposed to follow these clues, go do the scavenger hunt, find the rock, take a picture of them with the rock, put it back in place, and then report back. So yeah, that's an awesome idea. There's some really creative.
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's an activity just to put the darn thing together, and then it's another activity to actually do the scavenger hunt. I mean, that's I thought that was pretty cool. And since I didn't see a whole lot of head nodding going on, it was worth mentioning.
The kids love painting rocks. We've set up at like a street fair festival thing and had a rock painting booth, and the kids could come and paint rocks and then take them with them, and they love that. That's a super.
Apparently, there's some kind of an urban movement here in Monroe about the people will take little stones, you know, love and wonderful and that kind of stuff, and leave them along there's a local hiking trail up here. And then on Facebook from Monroe, people are complaining because we put out the stones and then I went back the next day and they were gone. Somebody took them home with them, you know. So there's a sort of an urban movement, urban myth kind of thing going on. I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, Fred, can you? We got a couple of minutes left. Can you give us kind of a high level view of where we stand from an OA standpoint?
Sure.
Anything folks need to know?
Well, the Board of the Arrow, as you know, had to cancel all the events for the remainder of the year in person.
Yeah.
The officers are currently working on trying to come up with a virtual annual fellowship. I heard rumor they might be showing up at Camp Baker on October 2nd or 3rd. There was a rumor that came to me, and I contacted them on their Slack communication, and I'm still waiting to hear back because I told them they probably need to tell somebody that they're going out there and make sure it's okay. And also make sure they have their adult leadership. Sometimes the youth are a little sketchy on things like that. They're also working on a virtual blended ordeal. They're talking about videotaping the pre-ordeal ceremony and possibly the ordeal ceremony, having the candidates stay overnight outside their house the night before and get up in the morning, have their parents give them some scant food, and then show up at the, a work site, whether it be an OA camp, a church, or a school, depending on their location where they can get to. We're gonna have to have some Alangamats work with them on that and do 4 hours of service project, feed them a little lunch, and send them home. And then they'd watch the ordeal ceremony at home, so that way we can eliminate all the close contact. I've heard of other chapters that are doing the ordeal ceremony in person on smaller groups. So we'll have to wait and see what our guys can come up with.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of creativity out in the scouting community for all these events, and the OA, I think, is helping lead that charge from a creativity standpoint. It's been pretty interesting to see and hear some of those things. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay.
Hey, Randy.
Ma'am.
I wanted to remind everybody, especially right now, I think when we get ready for recharter, we've got lots of families that are going to be facing economic issues. And I think that's going to be a real barrier. People that are displaced because of the fires, people that have lost jobs. I wanted to remind everybody that the Dale Fund has money that is specifically set aside to help units and scouts. We've barely spent any Dale Fund money because nobody got to go to camp this year. And that money cannot be used for other things. It can't be used to pay salaries. It cannot be used to pay rent, anything like that. It needs to go to helping individual scouts or scouters or units that have a financial need. And so if you hear within your units that funding is stopping kids from scouting, that should not be happening. There should be no scout that doesn't re-register because of money. So if they need a uniform, if they need registration money, any of those things, the applications for the Dale Fund are online. We've been still meeting. We have a Dale Fund meeting next week. Dale Fund is still meeting to approve applications. If you have a new unit that needs startup money, there's funds there. So don't let that go to waste, and don't let the money stop kids, because I think that's a real issue. You hear
solid advice.
Kids in foster care are being raised by their grandparents, or the family lost their home. Make sure you let your units know to reach out and let that money be used for what it's meant for.
Yep. So, that's solid advice. Mr. Wiley.
Could that be added to the council website, perhaps, with the spelling of the name and all those, how to contact it?
It's on the OTC website. Okay. It's not easy to find.
I think it's under leaders.
Hey, Scott, where is it?
Isn't it under leaders?
It was under leaders. It needs to have a tab of its own, but it doesn't yet. But it's there. If you can't find it, call one of us and we'll tell you where to find it.
Yeah, and logistically, not that you want to hear it, but logistically, not everything can have its own button on the home page.
I know.
When that happens, nobody finds anything.
I know.
So
it's
very
there, but you have to look for it.
Yeah.
A great article for trail smoke, it sounds like.
It would be an awesome article for trail smoke.
No pressure there, Scott.
Well, if we had more folks on the Fireside Chat here, fellow participants, then some of that information would percolate out, as it were. No pressure there either.
Yeah, I think 2
Heck
years
of a
ago,
deal.
maybe I added up out of the whole year for Dale Fund. I think there was not more than 12 units that applied. So that means the majority of our units do not even know that's available, because every single unit has kids that would benefit, that need to go to camp and that need help with registration that we're not helping.
Yeah, it is certainly a continual challenge, but I think the offset to the whole thing is solid program, and then those questions they evaporate before they even start. Makes a big difference. So it's yeah, it's going to be an interesting fall. There's just no doubt about it. And thanks for trying to get ahead of it on the retention and recruiting side. And thanks for all the things that we're doing here for all of us. We really do appreciate it. Scott, any last words of wisdom before we wrap up?
Words of wisdom? No, I would, Gene's gone now. I was going to say that Devin private messaged me and he said, wow, it's interesting. We've got 9 people on this Zoom meeting, and 3 of them with the white beards look like Santa Claus. So,
I was thinking maybe I needed a white beard.
Yeah. And just a final reminder about the Oregon Trail Council auction. It's right here on top of us. So there it is on your screen. A good reminder for all of us.
and Devin,
One last time.
Devin didn't actually say that, so.
I think Devin meant to say that 3 of the people that are not professionals were from Doug Fir District.
Exactly. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. All righty. You're welcome to stay in parking lot chat. Otherwise, we're going to call it an evening. So let's go get them out there and continue scouting. Thanks so much. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Good.